I'm Celeste.
And I'm Danielle, and we are the founders of the Somatica Institute of Sex and Relationship Coaching, where we train coaches and offer individual personal growth. So in sex and relationships, so we train coaches and offer certification. We will talk about the Somatica training later as well. What we hear a lot from our coaches is that they experience amazing joy and satisfaction doing this work. And we know it because we enjoy immensely our work as well with our clients and teaching the training. Stay tuned with us, and we will offer, and you can find more information on somaticainstitute.com.
So today we're going to talk about sourcing erotic energy. And I'm really excited about this because I feel like everybody has sort of been pulled down into themselves, and it's time to actually come back in and feel that energy inside of our body and use it to bring ourselves back out into the world, I think. So I think it's a really important time to remember how to source our internal experience of energy.
Yes. So as I say, stay with us because we will offer a special discount if you sign up today for the Somatica training. We do have only a couple spots left, and we offer them first come, first served.
So I want to start out just saying a little bit about what erotic energy is, and maybe like what erotic energy is to me, because I'm a very sexual being. I think I have been for my whole life. And really, it's funny because during this pandemic time, there's been, maybe for the first time in my life, like breaks from me being able to have sexual connection. And I was like, oh, what is going to fill my gas tank aside from sex? What is going to fill my gas tank aside from this energy in my body? And it turned out that nothing did. The only thing that really fills my gas tank is actually having sex with someone. But I'm able to keep moving through even in the harder times by being able to stay connected with my own sexual and erotic energy in my body. And I think there's ways to actually be able to source it in any single moment in our lives and to keep it running throughout our entire lives. So that's what we want to talk about today.
Yeah. So shall we go, Celeste, and talk a little bit about how to cultivate it? And
I kind of wanted to, I don't know, I kind of want to tell this story because we were talking in our training recently about bringing your sexual energy into dating and talking about like how when you're on a first date and you're just talking and you might just be talking about really boring, silly things like, whatever, like where you grew up or something like that. And then you're feeling that energy in your body. And somebody said, well, like, what if you're not attracted to the person across from you? Like, when do you turn off that energy? And both of us in unison were like, never. Don't turn off the energy, because, if like something happens in the interaction that turns it off, that's fine. But I think you can still just have amazing erotic connection with yourself and with other people. And that's not a promise for anything else. It's just an in the moment experience of having a really enjoyable time, which I think can make dating a lot more fun, because dating is hard and you never know if it's going to be a good connection or not for a longer time, but you can have that good connection for the hour that you're there, and you can stay connected to your own body and your own erotic energy.
So that brings me to my usual question that I ask for everything that I do. And this is like, why bother, right? Like, why bother cultivating this energy? Why bother bring it up? Why bother, sharing it with people? And the reason is because it really feels good. It feels so amazing to feel alive, to feel in your body, to feel glowing. This erotic energy has this like amazing aliveness. It's our connection to ourselves. It's our connection to people around us. It's our birthright. And learning to cultivate and give it permission to feel it inside you can just bring so much joy and aliveness. And why bother to life and the meaning of life? I woke up this morning with a lot of questions about the meaning of life, and I'm glad we have this webinar because this is actually the meaning of life, like walking around with this energy. Yes.
Good. So I think there's a lot of different ways to cultivate sexual energy. And one of them is something that, like I was saying, you can really do with yourself anytime in any moment. I know we talk about meditation like it's something that you have to sit separate from everyone else and do. And that can be a really wonderful way to do meditation. But really, to me, meditation is any moment in your day when you take a second, a few seconds, a few breaths to come in and connect with yourself and to start to if we're talking about erotic energy, to start to heat up the erotic centers in your body, whatever those are. When you practice erotic meditation more mindfully and sitting and being in connection with yourself, which we're going to take you through an erotic meditation in just a moment, it helps you prepare for any moment out in the world when you're like, wow, I feel a little down, or I feel a little out of it, or something isn't working for me right now. Let me just tap back into that source with a little mini erotic meditation, so that no matter what's happening out here, it can still feel good in my body.
Yeah, and I also want to say as well, and as I'm going to walk you through this meditation, that in the training we really teach you many practices of getting in touch with your erotic energy and your sexual energy, and really practice harnessing it and sharing it in ways that feel really good to you. But we first need to start again, like with getting in touch, and I'm going to walk you today through one way, and again there are many ways. So I'm going to invite you to close your eyes unless you're driving and listening to this webinar. And please do not do that. Also, don't do it if you're cutting something in the kitchen while you're listening to the webinar. Just do it if you are settled in a safe place. And yes, so take a breath and settle in a comfortable place. You can also do it standing. You don't have to sit down as you're doing it. Just take a nice deep breath inside. And as bring your like vision into your body. Let yourself look inside your body. And as you're seated or standing and feeling supported by your chair or by the floor, I want to invite you to notice if there's a place in your body that has already have, and we all have it. It's a birthright. So everyone has it. A place that you feel that if you bring your attention to it, it lights up. And it lights up. And it might be a tiny little bulb of energy. It might be an area that feel more, it's not like pinpointed, but more like an area that feel lit up. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, do not worry. Just explore with that. There's no right way to do it. And just take a breath into this place. You can feel this tiny bulb of energy starting to glow. For me, it's usually starts in my belly, and then it goes lower to my pelvic floor, to my G-spot, starts glowing from there. It might be completely different for you. It might be in your head, in your forehead, might be in your arm, might be in your heart. Whatever it is that you feel this bud of energy, you can place your attention on it. And as you place your attention on it and you breathe deeply into it, start noticing the like texture or colors or sensations that come with it. There is this bulb of energy, you want to stay still or it want to open and expand. Ooh, and notice if your body want to stay still or want to move with it. And take a breath all the way down to this bulb and notice what it wants to do. And notice that with your breath and placement of attention, you can connect with this energy inside you. Notice if this bulb of energy, you might be someone that it has something, your bulb of energy want to say something to you, or it want to bounce inside you, or it wants to glow and open up all the inner parts of your body and really like shine through you. Just take a few breaths into this light and bulb of energy. Let it do its alive dance inside you. And while staying connected to it, you can ask yourself, what do you want to tell me today? And take a few breaths. Squeeze yourself a little bit around it. And hold and embrace this light of energy. And let go. And as you stay connected to it, you can bring yourself back to the room.
That felt so good for me. It starts in my pussy and like around the opening of my vagina and my clit, and then I start squeezing it up, and then it rolls like in goosebumps down my legs and up through my belly. Like that sort of like spreads and spreads. And then another way that you can kind of enhance it is by using touch, either your own touch or somebody else's touch. So it's almost like once I generate it in my pussy and my legs and my belly and it flows up, then I can move it to my hands. Well, I love this screen because it kind of makes them glow exactly how they feel when I move it to my hands. And then I can like take it's almost like there's energy in my hands, and then I'm taking the energy in my hands and I'm connecting it with the energy in my body and then moving it through my body. So it can be like medium touch where it's directly spreading it, or it can be almost like really light touch where you just feel the energy of your hand touch the energy of your body, like where you're barely even touching. And that can create more like shivers and tingles. So it depends on how much you want it to be like shivery and tingly, or how much you want it to be like a little bit more deep, what kind of touch you want to give yourself. So like light feathery touch kind of makes it like shimmy through your body, and then more deep touch makes it ground and like move a little bit lower, at least in my body. But you can check now with your own body, like what is, now that you've got the energy flowing, what does touch do for you? Does it heighten it? Does it bring it down? There's no right or wrong for this. You just want to study in your own body what helps you touch into the source of your sexual energy. So we have sort of erotic energy meditation, which Danielle just took us through, which was amazing and beautiful. And then we have touch, either our own touch, or we can actually have someone else touch us and facilitate the erotic energy. If you're using touch for erotic energy, and you're having someone else give you the touch, you still really want to self-focus. You can do, partner connection for something else, but if you're trying to enhance the energy, then you want to sort of have their hands facilitate the energy moving through your body. You might even need to tell them kind of like where to touch, where to hold. Sometimes you can do like a hold on your pussy or your cock or your belly or your chest or your heart. And then the other hand can like spread it through your body. So you could have a partner or someone else who's willing to facilitate your sexual energy through your body, giving you that touch. And you're just still bringing in that focus to that light bulb that Danielle was talking about, and then spreading, building, and using either your own touch or somebody else's touch to do that. So that's another way to touch into source really efficiently.
When you use this erotic energy inside you, when you touch or receive touch, or when you look or when you share this energy, it is so much more intense than if you just come to a connection without connecting with your own erotic energy. And then it just intensifies the connection, intensifies the sexual communication that you do with a partner. So maybe another thing we want to talk about is like, how do you use it in different kinds of erotic experiences? Because as we said, you can just use your erotic energy when you go everywhere you go. You go to the grocery store, it's like, hey, it's mine. And I feel alive and awake. And that feels amazing to be alive. And again, like that's yours to experience and share or not share in any which way. It can be shared with a smile. It can be shared with, a hug. It can be shared with like a thank you when you say thank you, when you buy something at a store, or when you like look around you and enjoy the beauty of the day. And you can also share it in different ways when you are having sexual experiences.
Yeah, I think another way to even cultivate sexual energy, and because we've sort of talked about using meditation, we've talked about breath, and we've talked about touch, self-touch. But another way to cultivate sexual energy is to kind of use your psyche, your psychological arousal, like what turns you on the most. And I think the really important thing, and one of the reasons that we called this From Sacred Sexuality to Kink, is that there's no right source of sexual energy. Whatever your fantasies are, whatever your sexual experiences that you want to have with someone that touch you into your source, to your highest states of arousal, that is another way that you can cultivate your sexual energy. So maybe in an interaction with your partner, or maybe just in your own mind, what you're thinking in a sexual experience can deepen your connection and heighten this sexual energy in your body, and create an even more intense exchange. So maybe you like to play with power. You like to either feel powerful or you like to feel submissive. And for you to get fully into your power role, or to your dominant role or your submissive role, that can really heighten another level of the sexual energy. So you've got your meditation, you've got your touch, and then you've got your psychological arousal. And all three of these mixed together or by themselves can be great ways to source your erotic energy. So maybe you're sourcing it from power. Maybe you're sourcing it from this feeling of like, I'm connected to the whole universe, and the universe is pulsing inside of my body. Maybe that's part of your psychological arousal that gets you more deeply into your energy, so that it's building even higher. Or like I said, maybe it's power, or maybe it's playfulness. I think playfulness can have a lot of sourcing energy in it as well. So maybe you like to roll around like puppies, or maybe you like to play with animal experiences like biting or smelling. All of those things, again, can keep deepening. So you keep touching into that light, that source inside of yourself, and then you use all of the different kinds of stimulation and thoughts and experiences to heighten the intensity of that energy in your body.
And I want to share here that we have a fabulous book. It's called Coming Together. And we talk a little bit about the different ways that we are turned on. And if you kind of take this webinar and you apply it to your hottest turn on, it just enhances the experience. And of course, in the Somatica training, we teach you about how to get in touch both with your erotic energy and with your psychological turn on, and much, much more than that, but explore your own and help you explore others as well, or support your clients to explore their own, in order to have a much bigger, wider, amazing, explosive, sexual, and intimate experience.
So I'm hoping this is answering your question, Ed. Tapping into the source. Are you referring to just total relaxation with positive affirmations? I think total relaxation is a great place to start. And that's why you could start with a meditation that maybe isn't necessarily erotic or sexual, just to get more into your body. But now we're talking about layering in the erotic energy beyond just relaxation, but the aliveness that comes from being an erotic being, right? We have plenty of time to not be in a body, but right now we're in a body. And to me, it's a great opportunity to use our bodies to make life more bright and shiny and interactive. I think when our sexual energy is alive, people are drawn to us. I think this is actually what the word charisma means. And so when you are walking around in that energy, and it happens all the time, like I'll have a new client and we'll do an erotic breathwork session in a first session, or sometimes in a fifth session or something like that. And then afterwards they'll text me, or we'll come to the next session and they'll say, after we did that breathwork session and I was walking around, people were looking at me and like smiling in ways that they don't usually do that. And, like I just had so many more fun and friendly and flirty interactions than I usually do. And it just simply comes from tapping into that source.
Yes, this source is also an amazing way to get in touch with your creativity, and like just getting in touch with that can help you if you're looking for a way to connect with your creativity or just want to enjoy it. Tapping into the source definitely helps you feel much lighter, much more creative, have better ideas. Yes, highly recommended. That's what I want to say, huh? Yeah.
Can be used. A lot of artists and musicians probably know this already, that they kind of use some of their eroticism as a way to channel their creativity. But I also think it's not just for artists and, dancers and actors, it's not just for creatives. Really, you can bring your erotic energy into anything that you're doing. And it just makes it more fun and alive. If I'm doing yard work, I can just be like toiling away or I can be like, oh, I can feel my muscles when I dig into the earth, and I bring that muscular feeling again as part of touching into source. So we have all of these different systems in our body as well, right? Our energetic system, but also like our muscular system and our breath system. So even if you're doing something that's more like physical or manual, that's another way that you can deepen your connection to your source and your erotic energy. Oh, I love being a nudist makes me more relaxed and more flow of energy in my body. Yeah, there's something about just like having the world interact directly with your skin that I think is so enlivening, right? If you just feel a breeze, or if you feel the sunshine, or if you feel the textures on your couch or in your bed, if you're naked, then you can kind of have so much more sensation and stimulation to connect with source as well.
There's a way to like sources from the inside, and a way to kind of make it also connected from the outside. So when you feel it inside you, you can, Celeste talked about yard work, for example. So you can also feel the earth coming through and get like extra boost of energy from the earth energy and from the nature energy. Or if you are like nude in nature, that's also can be like a way to connect both from the outside and from the inside, and have it like a very wholesome experience. Yeah, so I want to talk a little bit about the Somatica training, and we will answer your questions, so keep them coming. And how we are, as I said earlier, we definitely practice different ways to get in touch with your sexual energy and your erotic energy. We also practice ways to harness it. Sometimes people feel a little bit like, oh my God, I have so much erotic energy. Does that and is it safe? So we really work on helping you feel connected, grounded, and feel the mastery over like how much you want to share and how much you want to keep for yourself, how much you and have this choice and boundaries around your erotic energy.
Do we have any recommended breathwork practices that could activate erotic energy with oneself and one partner? It is something that we teach a lot about in the training, but using the breathwork that Danielle started today, just where you breathe down into your chest and then your belly and then your pelvic floor. And I really love like pelvic squeezes. As you're breathing, you're squeezing your pelvic floor and then releasing. And even just that, like the 3-step breath, chest, belly, pelvic floor, and then squeezes with it while you're closing your eyes, and then maybe doing it while you're looking in your partner's eyes. That's a really nice way to transition. A lot of times people have a hard time transitioning into erotic experiences with their partner. So that can be something that kind of like brings you from, oh, just the regular day-to-day experience of life to like, okay, I'm really getting in my body, I'm cultivating my erotic energy, I'm connecting to source, I'm connecting to my partner. And then that's a great place to, a diving off place to continue to make love or whatever, to dance, to cook a meal together, whatever it is that you want, however you want to share your intimacy.
Yeah, and if you enjoyed this talk and webinar, we would love to see more of you. So please like our page on Facebook, Somatica Institute, as well as like us and subscribe on YouTube, Celeste and Danielle. And we can't wait to see more of you.